Hello everyone, welcome to Gardening by the Bay. Today we have the pleasure of visiting the garden of Stephen Smith, located at the Crocker Hill Store in St. Andrews. It's going to be a fabulous tour, so I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. Steve is a really well-known artist around town and Charlotte County, all through the area, both for his amazing wildlife paintings, watercolors, but especially this unique garden he has with all his stone sculptures and amazing plants. So we're just at the entrance. We're going to take you into a little amazing world that you've perhaps never seen anything quite like before. Here we go, Steve.
Go ahead.
First of all, stones, 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 stones everywhere. Absolutely amazing stones.
I did this 1998, I believe.
Okay.
And I hand cut every one of these.
Every one of the pathway. Oh my soul. I've always been amazed that they fit so beautifully.
Yeah, do you know why? I have pressure against them. They don't come apart.
Okay.
See the stones?
All right. So they don't heave and
no, nothing
twist
happens.
up through the winter.
Right.
Okay.
I planted, I'm not sure if it's feverfew or chamomile, and it looks so nice in the spring, these little buds of yellow.
Okay, well, let's step in a little further, and a beautiful poppy here. It's a little late in the season, so
that little poppy's probably got 100,000 seeds in it.
Yeah. And
It's
do
amazing.
you let them self-seed through the
No,
year?
we don't. What we do, we'll take this, and I'll take those off. See, now, this was blowing in the wind. Okay, the seed pod hasn't opened yet.
Okay.
Because if that was blowing in the wind would blow all the seeds every which way.
Yes.
And I take the seeds off, pods off. I take the leaves off when I know it's really windy.
Okay.
And the holes are there. If I did that, Gail will come out with her paper bag, and we'll dump the seeds into the paper bag.
Okay. And then you have more for another
season.
season.
We have more for another year.
And tell me now, these rocks are all hand cut. These are all natural form?
These are all natural form, and they come from Kerrs Ridge Road.
Oh,
up on the mountain.
Yes.
Up high.
And just from an excavation that they were doing, or
well, I'll tell you, there's a pleasant man, Dean McCullough. Do you know?
Yes, I know Dean. He's my wood man.
Yes, he's a great guy. He knows how to do everything about grinding up soil, bark, and all this stuff. But all his stones, I go up there I have my survey tape, the orange tape. When I saw these stones, I put survey tape around each and every stone.
Yeah.
And the very next day, Dean would drop off the stones to my house, to behind the house.
Oh my gosh.
And what he did, he brought down this huge piece of thick rubber that his horses would lay on. And now that's under my car. So I backed my car out to allow Dean to put the stones on for me, the new stones. Then we put the stones inside and go on with another venture.
Oh, my soul.
And Dean's been good to us, really. He's a nice, pleasant man.
He's a wonderful man. And this fabulous tansy, beautiful tansy, but what have you done to make it just looks like a
I stripped
sculpture.
all the leaves off the bottom,
Yeah.
all the way through.
Right.
And now it'll just, if it's windy, it'll just go like that.
And you just twist and braid them
right
together.
Now I added a bit of string to it and a little bar inside.
Yep. Oh, you did put a support in.
Yes, I did. I have to.
Okay.
Because they are brittle.
Yes.
But it looks, to me, I think they just look ahead of you.
I know, they're
Isn't that
fabulous.
stunning?
Really stunning. Now, have you grown these from seeds or from roots?
From root.
From root, okay.
Right.
And I see this is mint.
That's cat mint. It smells like Trident gum.
Lovely, lovely,
Isn't that nice?
Yes, it is beautiful. Now, this is kind of a sculptural little tree.
I brought that home. I'll have to tell you the story about this tree and the two other trees inside when we get inside.
Okay.
I brought this home off of the side. Okay, do you know coming from St. Stephen to St. Andrews on the new highway?
Yes.
You come up the hill and you see a camera up here.
Yeah.
You go under the camera. Well, when you go under the camera, if you look up a little higher, you can see all these little trees growing on top of some kind of a stone. So I got permission to go up on any of those banks to pick this tree off of the stone.
Yeah.
And it was a small stone at the time, and see where a deer must have come in here, a male deer, and
right.
ground his horns against that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to prune this and shape this after, I'm going to let it grow for a while.
And what is it? It's
Tamarack.
Not is it a tamarack? Because
Yes.
the silvery color reminded me of that. In the
Tamarack,
soft,
and it turns this beautiful cinnamon color in the fall.
Beautiful in the fall. And the needles drop because
Right.
it's actually deciduous, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Fabulous. But I've never seen one look so striking.
You wait till you see inside what I did.
Okay. And a beautiful rose up here.
Yeah. These are the roses that were developed in the 1980s.
The Hardy series?
Yes.
The Explorer series.
Explorer
okay.
series.
And they're very hardy for our
Yeah, they are for this
five climate.
5 zone.
Yep, 5 zone. Yep. Excellent. Here's a much larger cluster of the tansies. These are fabulous. Now, how old would these plants be roughly if you?
Well, we planted those probably 10 years ago.
Wow, and they're perennials.
They come up every year for us.
And do you undo the braid through
I
the
will.
winter, or do you cut them back?
No, we'll cut them back at the end of the season,
Yes.
growing season, and we'll hang them in our store. Upside down.
okay.
They'll last for 2 seasons, hanging upside down, nice yellow.
Oh, wonderful.
We'll put them in a shady corner on the ceiling.
Yeah. And then you start your braiding process again next summer
year,
as they
next
start
year.
growing.
Right.
Okay. And tell me about this tree. You were pointing out that
This is Alberta spruce.
and it's one of the very few
That the
plants
deer
in
don't
town
eat.
that the deer will not eat. I can see just down the way here, you've got another little treasure trove of sculptures.
right,
Yes, so
I
can
do.
we take a stroll and you
You
tell me
should-
about them?
We certainly can.
Okay, perfect. This stone is absolutely fabulous.
It's beautiful. And I added a nice black top to it, and
Yeah.
I put little stones in as well.
All right.
I
little
insert
necklace.
these with my my epoxy that I use once I drill a hole. I drilled a hole down to about here, down through
Okay.
here, and I insert a galvanized bolt, because galvanized bolts have a sharp tooth,
Okay.
and it's always 3/8 of an inch in diameter. And I do that. This will never come off. It's there forever.
It's amazing.
All my stones are.
And you were telling me a little earlier, this one weighs about 3/4 of a ton?
That weighs either a half ton to a 3/4 of a ton. That's heavy.
Some of these stones do have beautiful designs
That's like a
in them.
megalithic symbols.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Machu Picchu in Peru.
And the wonderful mushroom caps.
Yes, that was another surprise for my wife.
That is wonderful. These are absolutely great. And how do you choose what's going to go with what? Do you?
I think we all can choose what we like. You know what I mean? If you like something, you want to
Yeah.
choose it for something, that's what we do. We put it on. Now there's one, a faceless man. As soon as I saw that stone, I said, I'm going to post this man in a good spot. He's here in the sun all the time,
Yeah.
and the pigeons will sit on him.
And so essentially this is the borderline of your fence. You have an interior fence
Right.
to keep the deer out.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally are going to go through the garden gate and get into the really good stuff. But this is an amazing structural exterior to
Well, look
a
up in here.
delightful garden.
I cleaned the inside out for the birds.
Oh.
They all can roost in here.
Isn't that neat? That's so you're actually the old cedars have become sculptural as well with little tree lights in. So we've seen this fabulous exterior,
Right.
but I see this fence and I want to see what's behind the fence, as does everyone else. So
Okay.
let's
Let's
we
go.
head inside. Good. Well, finally I get to get inside behind the fence. Oh my soul, Stephen, it's an absolute wonderland. No wonder you keep it beautifully hidden. This is stunning, this is gorgeous. And this mist, it's so fine, it's beautiful.
That's for the hummingbirds, and the sparrows will get on the stone and they'll flutter, clean their wings, and they'll drink
Okay.
water, and the bees will come.
And look at this and more of your stone sculptures.
Look
Is
at
that
it.
my imagination or is that a dog?
That's a dog.
He's great, absolutely fabulous. And is this hyssop?
This Anna's hyssop,
Anna's
yes.
hyssop, okay, because it is completely covered in bees right now.
I think those belong to Marcus Ritter's
Oh,
bees.
one of your neighbors
Yes.
has beehives?
Mm-hmm.
And this is an annual or a perennial?
A perennial.
Perennial,
Comes
okay.
back every year.
Yep. And your poppies?
Right. And it does drop seeds too, so it will probably
Okay.
come back from seeds as well.
Okay. And tell me about this carving over here right behind
This
the
carving,
hyssop.
that was a stone that I found, and I wanted to have a difference in color. That's why I changed that. That's a
Okay.
piece of lava up here. And
Lava?
that's lava, yes. I have no idea how it arrived in St. Andrews. Maybe off a ship or something.
Well, but there was a lot of volcanic activity out towards the Fyander Road
That could have
several
been. That could have been because
thousand
it's not very
centuries
heavy.
ago. Yeah.
It isn't very heavy.
I see all sorts of treasures over there.
Okay, follow me.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay, great. Perfect. Whoa, Steve, this is great. Now, by the way, you had something you told me you wanted to tell me about.
I did. Well, I just wanted to say that I'm Stephen Smith, and this is my stage.
Your stage.
This is my stage.
It's wonderful. It is
That's-
a beautiful stage, and it reflects your.
That's what I want to say is
Yeah.
I love what I do, and that's why I'm saying this is my stage. I come out here every day, and I sit and I look at some of the things, and I get up and I walk around, and it's just, look, it's just everything you want. Everything. I think would be what everybody should have, is a little spot like this outside of their house somewhere.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it reflects your character and your personality,
Yeah.
your likes.
I love what I do, and it's just, it's perfect.
Like this is like a whole little world right
Just
here.
squint
It's
your
a
eyes.
little planet.
Just squint
Yeah.
your eyes. It's really cool.
This is fabulous. And is this looks like a Japanese maple,
It's
or
a Japanese
is it a dwarf
maple.
type?
No, it's not. It wants to grow. I'm
And-
going to let it grow maybe to this height.
Yes.
That's it.
Now, what is this wonderful little shape? What is this all about?
One of my dogs come out here about 2 years ago and got her leash hooked around one of these limbs and broke it off. And she continued on, went over here, got her leash caught over there and broke one. There it is back there.
So this is a section of this?
That is a section of this. This is now going to be a beautiful tree.
All right. And what is the name of this one?
It's a Japanese yew.
A Japanese yew. It's beautiful. The colors, it almost looks like roses. It's
Yes.
the way it curls. So all these ground covers are perennials, and you don't cover them or anything
I
for
don't
winter?
cover them because they grow. These grew on mountains
Okay.
where there's snow, and then where it's 45 to 50 to 70 below zero.
And you've got a beautiful lady's mantle over here.
Yes, I took the blossoms off because I don't like the looks of the blossoms when they're spent.
It's
You must
true.
know what they look
Oh,
like.
I know. I just cut a bunch myself recently. They're beautiful yellow, but
When they're yellow,
after 2
when they're
days,
yellow.
they look like dead laundry. And what's this little lavender?
That's thyme.
And you were telling me earlier, you don't fertilize anything.
No.
You don't use mulch. You don't use
No
compost.
mulch. I don't use mulch because I believe mulch, it gets hot and insects live in, there's bugs, there's insects, there's things that you don't want, there's fire ants, there's ants. I've only seen about 3 fire ants in this garden. But sometimes I do get bit by a bug, an ant, but it's not a fire ant. They aren't fun to have. Do you ever get bit by a fire ant?
Oh, many times, yes.
Not fun.
And in terms of nutrients for the plants, you don't add any additional.
Well, what I did when I first started this garden,
Yes.
there wasn't any stones here. None of this was here.
Okay.
I had a tractor come in here, and we sloped it down this way. See how it slopes?
Yes.
We put about maybe 5 big trucks, those dump trucks. The hedge wasn't here and here. We come in and we did it, with a bucket on a tractor, not the big truck.
Yep.
And we spread it. Then, before I put the stones down, I started stonework. I incorporated probably close to 200 bags of this stuff.
Okay. It's like almost a pea gravel.
Right, it's
Yep.
smaller than pea gravel.
Yep.
And what I did, I laid it all over that. And what happens was, when we put the stones down, the stones pushed the pea gravel into the ground. And once it went down so far it wouldn't go any further, then I started putting more stones in, and I tested part of some of the grass,
Yes.
and you could pull up some of the, well, not grass, the thyme, and you could see where the roots are growing in the ground.
Okay.
And there's a tree up here that I'll show you after, that when I I did it on purpose. I had 2 people helping me lift this stone. I guess we can't show you that because it's too heavy. When I lifted the stone, it was 18 inches in length. And when we put it up in the air, guess what was hanging out of the bottom? 18-inch roots. The roots were hanging right straight down.
Wow.
And it was really nice to see that because that means my ground is healthy. That's why everything grows so nicely.
And it's got wonderful drainage.
None of this, what do you call that stuff in a yellow and green bucket? Miracle Grow.
Oh, no.
No Miracle Grow in here.
No.
Not at all.
And
this is your false indigo.
oh, yes, yep. Oh, now there's another one that you have.
I made it into a bouquet.
You've
Because if I didn't, it would just freak down.
Mine is all over the place. There's a tremendous amount of texture all through your garden.
Yes.
What a beautiful, stunning rock. Where is that one from?
Jeff Holmes. He's a nice guy. He lives next door to us here.
So it was a gift.
It was a gift from artists. Here's a stone right there. See the tongue sticking out of his face?
Oh.
This stone cracked on me. See where it cracked?
Okay.
And so I decided I better fix that. So I took it apart. I drilled a hole in there with a bolt. I put a nut back in here.
Yes.
And I let it dry, the epoxy. Then the next day I took and screwed the screw into that, and I had to hide the screw with the tongue.
That's pretty neat. That is really interesting. And is this another Japanese maple?
Another Japanese maple.
What is this? It almost looks like a dragonfly hiding here inside the.
Well, I guess it does.
head.
People see what they see, I guess.
Yeah.
I created this at my other home where we used to live before we moved here. I created a dry riverbed with these stones.
Ah.
And I had no idea, my wife Gail, about a year later, one of those stones brought down here. So I took one of those chalk sticks that young kids have, and I numbered every one of them, and I put green tape on the rocks, and I brought them down. And I did it for her, and she didn't know I was doing it. She thought I was working on the hedge. I brought the stones in around this way from the hedge, and here they are. And she got a beautiful smile on her face that day.
That is stunning. And these gorgeous hollyhocks.
Yeah, hollyhock is beautiful,
pink.
isn't it?
Yes. Now, they are biennial. Do you get blooms every year?
Every year it comes up. Every
Okay.
year that comes up. What's the name of oh my God, I eat them all the time, dates.
Oh, yeah.
Fig. It's
Figs.
a fig leaf hollyhock.
All right, a little different from the.
That looks like a fig.
Yeah.
Fig leaf.
Yeah.
Fig leaf.
And it certainly attracts the bees too.
Yes.
Got some another
Beautiful Japanese
maple. Now you've let this one grow to almost full height.
No, it's going to grow maybe another foot high.
Okay.
See, what I'll do is, if I want to keep it short, I'll cut those tall pieces off now.
Okay.
In here too.
Well, and this one's quite unusual. What is this? It almost looks like
I found this tree. It was much smaller than that. It was really hard for me to shape this tree to any type of bonsai. But I discovered this tree outside of a graveyard, and it was just about this wide, and one of these stems. That's all it was. And I brought it home. It's been here for many years, and I did some research with my iPhone. Finally, I had an iPhone that had an app that would tell me what it was. It's a hedgerow oak tree from Ireland.
Oh, my soul.
Yeah, it came from Ireland.
Well, that's interesting because you said you found it near the cemetery.
Right, I did.
I wonder if that
could be the same thing.
If it's
could
been
be
brought over.
Remember I told you where the stone wall was inside of this, up by Dean McCullough's?
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I found it. There's a place there where there's a couple of stones.
And we had so many early Irish settlers here,
they did.
so it could have come from Ireland at some point. That's wonderful.
Now this
one's quite unique.
This tree has got 2 trunks, look.
Isn't that interesting? And it grew that way on its own?
On its own, yes.
And you didn't twist it and shape
I
it?
didn't want to do that. I'm going to cut it off once it's, I want it to be at the same height as all my little trees.
Okay.
I'm going to do that, and then I'll cut it off, and what'll happen when I cut it, this will fill out.
All right. And do you know what type of tree it is?
That's a large or tamarack.
Okay. And does it turn the tamarack, the cinnamon color in the fall? That's beautiful. Tell me about this bird bath. This isn't what you'd normally find in your gardening center.
When we moved to Crocker Hill, we would go on bicycle rides. That's what we had at one time. And go looking for someone to find a dish made out of a stone that looked like a stone that looked like a plate or a dish that we could put water in. We never had a bird bath at our home. But we were invited to go to Mackenzie King Estate in Ottawa. So we went. As we were going up through New Hampshire, I saw a landscaping company. So I just exited the truck from the highway. We went up, told him what I wanted. He was such a nice guy. He said, when are you coming back? I said, it's Thursday now. I'll be back on Tuesday. He said, I'll have that made for you. I told him the diameter I wanted it made. I wanted it that exact size.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuesday it came, and I went back there, and it was ready for us.
Wow, it is stunning.
But he scared us. He did it. I think he did it for a lark. He wanted to try to be funny. When he put it on the back of our truck, this was lifted up and had this old cotton belt, a big belt, and it was on his tractor. But he knew his tractor was going to come down like this and squeak and squawk and all that stuff. And I said, Gail, there goes our new truck. But it didn't happen. So we brought it home, and Cedric went front, and remember Cedric?
Yeah.
It was on the back of my truck. He drove down from where he lived, and he took this off of my truck, and he left. Then again, when I wanted to move down here, Cedric came back about 4 years later. I don't know how, he parked in here, I guess, in the town off town. There wasn't much traffic there at the time. And he brought it over the hedge. The hedge was shorter. He brought it over and dropped it right here.
Wow. What type of
granite?
Stone, granite, okay.
And I wash it every day, but excuse that little spot right there, but I can't help the birds. But every day I come out here with a broom and I swish it out.
Yeah.
Because I have my 2 English setters. I don't want them drinking anything that's bad in that water.
Okay.
So I flush it out and I refill it, and the girls come out, the first thing they'll do is get a drink of water.
Great.
And that's that.
And you've got some fabulous lambs here.
Yes, I did that a couple days ago because the lambs here look pretty sloppy when I didn't take care of it for a few minutes or a few days.
I see another sculpture here. I'm sure there's a story behind this one.
Oh, definitely. Well, I like carving things for my wife, making things, surprising her. I phoned her on my phone and I said, Gail, you gotta come out here. There's in our pond, our little bird bath, somebody must have put a fish in the bird bath, but it's out now. It's on this stone.
Oh.
Could you come out and see this? And she was all teeth when she saw that.
Yeah, so you carved it?
Yes, I carved it.
That's fabulous.
It's nice to surprise her. I do that. I surprise her all the time.
I'm sure. And what's this taller sculpture?
That's a sculpture I did for her out of just granite that I would not normally have used. I did this because I wanted her to have something totally different.
Yeah.
And this is a UV paint that I created.
A UV paint.
A UV paint.
An ultraviolet paint.
It won't fade.
It won't fade.
And you can't scratch it off. And I put little stones at the bottom. See, red stones.
Okay. And when you say it's a type of stone you wouldn't normally use, why not?
Because I didn't know what I was going to do with this.
Oh, because of the shape.
Because of the shape.
Rather than the particular stone material.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now there's another Japanese tree.
Yep, Japanese
These are
maple.
Japanese trees here.
Now, this was a much finer leaf?
Yes.
And yet they're both considered Japanese maples?
Yes, they are. Here's another spruce tree from Alberta. Now just feel that, how rough, how tough it is.
Oh, it is Yes, really rough and tough.
That
You can
hasn't
almost, little
grown.
scrubbing brush out of
That's
it.
been here probably 12 years.
Oh, great.
But look at the color there.
Yeah, terrific. The poppies, yeah. Every single stone in your garden has a story, and
Yeah.
it's just like being, as I said earlier, it's like being in a little mini world of its own.
Well,
Little planets here, there, and everywhere.
it is. It's lovely here.
It is fabulous. Stephen, I can't thank you enough. This has been an absolutely wonderful visit. Your garden is amazing.
Thank you.
Just so the sculptures are outstanding. We've totally enjoyed it. I know you have a lot more to show us, so we're going to come back another day
I
and
do.
catch some of your drawings and things. And we thank you, everyone, for watching Gardening by the Bay. Please be sure and join us again.